team is hungry. This team isn't done. This team is not going to be denied.
Energy all day! Energy all day!
Nick Bolton makes the hit. It's intercepted by Brian Cook. It's Mahomes gunning it long. Cook!
The Chiefs fought back from down 11 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Colts last week, but there wasn't too much time to celebrate as we're already back at it for a Thanksgiving showdown against the Cowboys with a chance to make it 2 wins in just 5 days. We are 2 hours from kickoff. You've waited 4 days for this very moment. It's finally here. It is time for football in Chiefs Kingdom. Let's do this. My name is Matt McMullen, joined by a voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. This is Field Pass, presented by StorageMart. First of all, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And Mitch, I'm thankful for our football team and that they found a way a few days ago against the Colts. Let's keep that rolling now here today.
I chuckled. You've waited 90 hours for this. Oh, my gosh. It has been so condensed and crazy since zeros hit the clock in overtime. But what an incredible victory for the Chiefs. This is what the Chiefs have been in this run to get to 5 Super Bowls and to win 3 of those with a gutsy win against the Colts. And now one of the most difficult things you have to do in all of professional sports, in my opinion, short week on the road in the NFL back-to-back like this. So a challenge here to try to fight through it.
Well, let's talk about the comeback a little bit because it feels like it has the potential to be a crossroads kind of moment for this team. Down 11 points in the fourth quarter to a really good Colts team, our guys found a way.
And it reminded me of the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 54 because it started with the defense. We remember the offensive plays of Super Bowl 54 in the fourth quarter, Damian Williams running like right down the rundown mortality, but it really defensively started it. After Kareem Hunt fumbled, you're thinking, oh my gosh, down 11 points. But the 4 straight 3-and-outs and the way they did it was very reminiscent of what the Chiefs did to win Super Bowl 54. So gutsy performance by the defense. When things, and Matt, it's so difficult to do it in any phase of football when the wind is blowing in your face.
Yes.
Nothing is going for you, and someone has to make a spark. Someone has to start it. The defense did it.
Yeah, they sure did. The defense was incredible late last week. Think about how good that Colts offense is. They come in leading the NFL in virtually every offensive metric. They were averaging 3.2 points per drive going into that game, best mark since the 2007 Patriots. They also had recorded just 13 3-and-out possessions all season, easily the fewest in the NFL, until, like you said, they go 3-and-out on 4 straight drives to wrap up the game. Our defense stepped up in a big way when we needed them most.
Chris Jones was awesome because he's the one that kind of started the spark a little bit. But then you got some plays as we got our guys.
Jerry Tillery, yep.
Jerry Tillery ready to go. He's part of that group too.
He sure is.
But I saw Drew Tranquill on Monday, and I said, people see his third down play near midfield in overtime. I saw the very first play to start the whole rally. He had a run blitz and hit Taylor for a loss, and it just kind of started everything downhill. So as a group, that defense, front, middle, back, made it themselves, put it on themselves to turn the game.
I'll give the crowd some credit too.
Yeah,
the crowd, I think, was the loudest they were all game when it kind of looked bleakest. I think the defense fed off that energy. So if you were there, shout out to you. Let's talk about the Chiefs' offense and the comeback. Now, a few things to clean up, obviously, notably the red zone offense. We'll talk about that here in a minute, and the giveaways. But they made play after play in crunch time. How about Kareem Hunt? He records a career-high 30 carries last week, gets over 100 yards on the ground. Rashee Rice caught 8 passes for 141 yards, 132 of which took place in the second half. Xavier Worthy made a big play late in the game. Noah Gray made an incredible catch late in the game. We joke around about the everybody got to eat thing, but everybody had a role in that comeback last week.
It kind of starts with Kareem Hunt to me.
Yeah.
The guy has had 15 attempts on 3rd and 1. He's made 12 of them.
Wow.
That's 4, by the way, more than the tush-push quarterbacks. So that kind of puts it in perspective. You remember last week, though, at this time, I looked over my shoulder. I go, if the Chiefs are going to win this game and turn the season, Kareem Hunt's going to be a big part of it. So many guys to mention, as you alluded to, but Kareem Hunt is so valuable to this team, even just getting from me to you to get a first down and keep a drive alive.
The whole thing just felt like a vintage kind of Chiefs performance. Hopefully it's the kind of thing that can springboard this team moving forward, and that's exactly what Patrick Mahomes talked about after the game. Take a listen.
Yeah, this is exactly what we needed. To win against a really good football team and the game's not going your way, you could have folded in that situation and kind of been kind of the rest of the season. But the guys responded, and and then found a way to win on every single unit. I mean, offense, we found a way at the end. Defense stood tall multiple times to give us chances, and then Harrison and Ariza did a great job flipping the field and making field goals. So we needed a win like this, and now let's just try to build off of it.
All right, great stuff there from Patrick. You know, we've seen it before. Sometimes all it takes is like one game to kind of prove to yourself you can come through in those sorts of moments.
But Pat, and in that comment, I'm glad you used it, there's so much more to Pat than his stats.
Yeah.
I mean, what he means to this team. He's a guy that will rally this team and permeate through the whole roster. So, yeah, Pat knows what has to do, sees the world from 30,000 feet, and his perspective is important, whether things are rolling or things are not. And I'm so excited. I know we're going to talk about it for him today in this setting, in this stadium against this team.
Well, let's do it right now.
All
Why
right.
is Patrick playing here today such a big deal?
Well, he grew up in Tyler, Texas, 115 miles away. But Dallas has such a magnetic pull throughout all of Texas, mostly North Texas. But still, I mean, Pat was a Cowboy fan. So Thanksgiving was a big deal for him. But when he was growing up in Tyler, the Dallas-Fort Worth teams were trying to pick him up for their – and keep in mind now, Pat could have been a Division I point guard. So the basketball teams are trying to pick him up, be on the Dallas Skyhawks, and let's travel the world. Or baseball and or football. And Pat goes, no, I'm going to stay in Tyler, Texas, and be with my guys. And he said, we love to go to the Metroplex with my Tyler guys and beat Dallas teams. So I saw him earlier this week, and I said, we're kind of representing all your Tyler guys here who have remained lifelong friends. Many of them have. This is a big deal for Pat today. And I think it's one of the best attributes the Chiefs have to try to grind through and get some momentum and adrenaline. Remember when we'd go to Philadelphia? And I remember in 2013 we went to Philly, and everybody was like, we're not going to lose this game for Coach. He's going back to Philly. I sense it this week. We're not going to lose this game for Pat because this is a huge deal for him.
Well, let's talk about how the offense can hopefully keep things going here today and keep this momentum rolling against the Cowboys defense that's playing some pretty good football right now. So their overall numbers aren't great defensively. It's actually near the bottom of the league of most defensive categories, but I think that's a little bit deceiving, notably because their personnel is different, and these guys look and feel a lot different over the last few weeks. They got linebacker DeMarvion Overshone back from injury a few weeks ago. They traded for linebacker Logan Wilson a few weeks ago. And the biggest addition, in more ways than one, is defensive tackle Quinnen Williams.
I'm going to throw in Shannon Revel in there, too, or Siobhan Revel, who we love coming out.
The rookie corner,
And he's off IR now, too. They feel like this is a completely different defense. You cannot look at the stats other than the last two games. And I know we're going to get into that more and more. But the guys that you mentioned, especially Quinnen Williams, he has 20 impact plays on defense in 2 games for them. That's taking into account tackles for loss, quarterback hits, sacks, pressures, hurries, all of that. He has 20. That's number 1 in the league in these 2 games. And so Quinnen Williams can affect a game in so many ways.
Yeah, like you said, he has the most pressures of any defensive tackle in the NFL over the last 2 weeks. And it's helped his defense over the last 2 weeks. Dallas is allowing just 19 points per game. How can we attack these guys here today?
Still can be attacked. I do like Logan Wilson at linebacker for them, and Overshone's an athlete. He grew up very close to White House High School, by the way.
How about that?
But there's still some ability to attack them at the second and third levels. You have to be balanced. I'm not giving anything that, no nuclear science here. But even off play action, this is kind of turning it on them. This is the best play action team in the NFL, the Cowboys. But the Chiefs, if they can establish enough of a run, play action, get some shots, but those shots aren't always on a 5 and 7 step drop out of shotgun, if that makes sense. You can do some max protect, send 2 or 3 out on the routes, and still take some shots, and you can hit those shots against this secondary.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because, their numbers overall, we're kind of throwing those out, but they have allowed a lot of passing yards this year, third most net passing yards per game in the NFL, and they've allowed the most completed passes of 25 or more yards in the league this season. It all begins with protection. Got to protect against this kind of rejuvenated front seven, but I think chances for those shots will be there, just a matter of hitting them when they're there.
Well, it's a matter, again, of you don't have to send 5 out on the route and have minimum protection. You can have max protect. I can send 2 or 3 out on the route. Now, part of the max protect issue today, though, is the fact that you do not have Noah Gray. And you've got, and Wiley, here he is, coming into play. He's only played 7 games and hasn't appeared since his ACL injury of a year ago. But he's going to have to be the third tight end today. Robert Tonyan becomes key here. whether they're running a route or not, whether they touch the ball or not, it's also about protection, especially if you max protect.
We also got a finish in the red zone today.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. If you look at the numbers, the Chiefs actually dominated the Colts last week. We had nearly 500 yards of offense and 33 first downs, both season highs. Well, why did we only score 23 points and need a field goal to get to overtime? It was our red zone touchdown efficiency. We went 1 for 6 in the red zone last week. Now, the Chiefs were 22 of 29 in the red zone from week 4 through week 9. Let's get back to that.
Let's do that. The red zone turnover was one thing that these two teams have in common. Combined, they have 9 red zone turnovers. The Cowboys are number 1 in the league with 5 red zone giveaways. The Chiefs have 4. And if you look back, we survived this one, but the other 3 we didn't.
Yeah,
meaning,
difference in the game most of the time.
Meaning you've got, and to be good in the red zone and get back to the weeks 4 through 8 you alluded to, you have to be able to attack horizontally and vertically. So there has to be some horizontal action here to try to get the Dallas defense moving side to side. You have to use that whole block. If you take the 20-yard line and just you've got a rectangle there, you've got to attack every part of that rectangle, and that's what the Chiefs did in weeks 4 through 8. Since then, they've not been able to get some horizontal action, a threat going, and if that happens, you're going to get a chance to hit at the back of the end zone, but you've got to attack that whole area.
Well, finishing in the red zone, I think, is paramount today because of who we're playing. This Cowboys offense is no joke. Need all the points we can get here in this one. It's actually the number 1 total offense in the NFL. Now, if you're wondering, that sounds kind of familiar. It's because 4 days ago, we just faced what was previously the number 1 total offense in the NFL in the Colts, and so we held them to a season-low 255 yards. Now, easier said than done, but how do we do that again now against the Cowboys?
Well, I think the defense is coming in with some confidence now. You've got to get a defensive rotation today, and you're facing some issues there. Christian Roll-Wallace not going to play, and so what does that do? Well, that affects your nickel dime. That affects, again, these combinations that you've got. But the fact that the Cowboys can hit you deep third and middle, there's so many ways that they can get you. Jake Ferguson's good, CeeDee Lamb, and I don't know what happened to George Pickens. Have you figured this out?
I'm trying to.
Last year on Christmas, he would give up on routes. We get an interception at the goal line on Russell Wilson because he just stopped running. And Justin Reed goes, well, I'll go cover this guy. And he intercepts a pass. So and now he looks like Michael Irvin. Like he's number 2 in the league, only behind Jackson Smith and Jigba of the Seattle Seahawks in total yards receiving. Like, what happened? But they've got a lot of ways to attack you. It's being sound, but you also can try to pressure Dak Prescott. He's not the running Prescott before all the injuries, but you can pressure them into some mistakes. Now, the Chiefs are trying to live hard here. They only have 9 takeaways. Yeah. We have 9 takeaways in 11 games. And I think only 3 teams have fewer, if my notes are right. And those 3 teams are the Giants, Commanders, and Jets.
Not very good teams, yeah.
What are we doing, man? How are we doing it? We got to get some takeaways, and you can get them against these guys.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the receiver duo here with Pickens and Lamb. I think it might be the best receiver duo in the NFL right now. They're both big play machines. Pickens has 10 catches of at least 25 yards this year, while Lamb has 8. And Pickens, yeah, like you said, he's just been a monster. He has at least 70 receiving yards in 6 straight games. In his last 2 games, he has no less than 140 receiving yards in each. He's going to make some plays today, but we can't let him go crazy here in this one.
No, and if you're playing man, you can't miss press. Remember what Christian Fulton did against the Broncos. Just whiffed on the press, and it's a 43-yard pass. These guys will make that a touchdown. So whatever coverage you're in, you've got to be super technique sound. And again, on a short week, you've got to rely on adrenaline here. But trust your scheme, trust your own game, and trust your eyes. Don't get tricked. This is the best play-action team in the NFL. Dak Prescott's numbers are astonishing on play-action passes. His QB rating is like 141. He's got 12 touchdowns and no interceptions on play-action. That leads you to Javonte Williams. But you also have to trust your eyes, and especially if you're the linebackers, if you're Bolt and Chanel and Tranquil and others, man, you've got to trust your eyes. You can't be tricked.
Yeah, that's a great point, because when you look at the Cowboys offense, it's very easy to get fixated on the receivers in the passing game. But I actually think it begins with the running game, because Javonte Williams has very quietly had a really nice season for these guys. He's 5th in the NFL in rushing right now. I had to do a double take when I first saw that. And when he's running the ball effectively, like you mentioned, sets up their play-action passing game. And Prescott was incredible off play-action, specifically last week. He goes 9 for 11 for 174 yards on play-action dropbacks. Now, the Chiefs were awesome against Jonathan Taylor last week, but got to make sure you're good against Jay Williams here in this one, too.
Yeah, and Spags always starts with that. But you also have to be careful of trusting your game, meaning I want to cheat a little bit in stopping the run. I get up on my toes and I lean, and now all of a sudden it's play action and I'm already behind the curve. So it's just a matter of trust in yourself and trust in this game. But I'm impressed with him. Look at his touchdown productivity. He's tied for 6th with rushing touchdowns in the league. This is the guy the Broncos gave up on, basically. And so he's like George Pickens. He's reborn in this team.
Now, I thought we'd have the inactives by now. So for those that don't know, inactives always come out 90 minutes before kickoff. But these holiday games, sometimes the kickoff is like a lie. Like maybe it's actually later than they're actually saying. So we don't have the inactives yet. But the thing is, we're not really wondering about too much of it. Most of it's already set in stone. For the Chiefs, some good news. We know Isaiah Pacheco is going to play here today. Isaiah was a full participant in practice this week after missing the last 3 games. Great having him back, especially after Kareem ran the ball 30 times a couple days ago.
He's so excited. I saw him in the locker room either Monday or Tuesday, and he saw me and just ran over and gave me this big hug. He wants to do well tonight. Now, he doesn't have to rush for 100 yards, but there's got to be some effectiveness. Think about 4 yards. If he's getting 4 yards a clip and then maybe pops a double-digit play, that takes the load off Kareem Hunt. Kareem's got to have the load off him today. He touched the ball 3 times.
Yes.
This is just hours ago. This is hours ago. So Pop comes in, even though with the knee injuries, he's fresh. He didn't play that game on Sunday. He becomes key in this game. Getting doesn't have to run for $150, but he's just got to be effective.
Now, we're not going to have Noah Gray at tight end. He remains in concussion protocol. Not going to have Trey Smith today with the ankle injury, and not going to have corner Chris Rowland-Wallace with the back injury. This is where the short weeks are really tough because these injuries happened only a couple days ago. Now, the good news is our next game isn't for 10 days. So if we can win this game, you have kind of like a mini bye week for those guys to get healthy, but won't have them here today.
Here's the concern, and it's for both teams, because the Cowboys came out of their Eagles game beat up. And Brian Schottenheimer talked about it. And they won't have Guyton, their left tackle, today. So he's out. But they've got a bunch of guys on that injured list. Now, here's where the concern is for everybody that's on the questionable or, practice, but what happens today? Because you could have, I've seen this happen before, a short week for both teams can lead to injuries today because you don't have the recovery time. That's what makes these Sunday to Thursday very brutal. So let's just hope that the way the Chiefs prepare all throughout the year, 12 months, this is why June matters, May matters, March and April matters, because of games like this. As Rick Burkhalter will tell us in OTAs when we do the first look, you're making deposits during that time to cash them in here. So who can survive this, be good today, but also survive any more major injuries?
Well, even George Pickens, who we've been talking all about, he was limited earlier this week with knee and calf injuries.
Yep.
Now, he was a full participant in their last day of practice this week, and no injury designation, but we'll see how effective he can be here today.
But, Matt, full participation during these weeks is not like full participation during a normal week.
Yeah.
We basically did a jog through, right? We had a walk through kind of Monday a little bit, the classroom, and get some treatment.
There's Pacheco right behind
us,
by
the
way.
Let's go, Pop.
Looking good.
The Cowboys were the same. They basically do a jog through. So a full participant means you were out here, but you weren't going full speed. Neither one of these teams went full speed at any time this week. So that leads to your point. We don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty about all those guys on the injured list on both sides, some key people, and how this will go today.
Now, you mentioned Tyler Guyton not playing. That's a huge deal. I mean, that's their starting left tackle. So Dak Prescott's only been sacked 17 times this year, 4th fewest of any quarterback to appear in 11 games this season. We got to take advantage of Guyton not playing today.
We do. And, again, it's being crafty, but you're going to have to win. We say it every week. Sometimes you're going to have to win with 4. Somebody's going to have to win on that edge and not blitz because of the power that they've got behind them with the – hopefully can drop 7 in the route. But you also can blitz, but where Dak has been when he's healthy, and he's now healthy, but that's the play action part of it. He's better. Some quarterbacks are just so much better off play action. That freezes. I can't just go hell-bent for election after the quarterback if it's, Javonte Williams runs right by me, right? Yeah. It's what we do to other teams sometimes. So you have to be disciplined here, but you've got to get pressure. And pressure doesn't always mean sacks. Pressure means affecting the physics of the play. It's what we did not do in the Denver game.
Yes.
And so if you just affect the physics of the play or the throw then it's you can affect and help the DBs who've got a big task today dealing with these receivers.
Well, everyone, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. I'm not sure when inactives will come out, but keep an eye on Chiefs social media. They'll have them here shortly. Not too many surprises that we're expecting anyway. Or go ahead.
Well, let's just talk about so Caliendo now has to take the whole load.
Yeah.
Right? So Trey's gone for this game. Ankle and still the back, but the ankle. But now Caliendo has got to take the load. But that affects your six-man offensive line. So Jalen Moore's got to come in sixth man. Norzad's got to be ready. So it's not just that spot. It's what that spot does to everything else that you do. And the same goes for Noah. I just mentioned it. When we play so many 13 personnel, and so Wiley's got to be big. He just hasn't played much. And the fact that Tunyon now becomes in Noah Gray's role, that's a big deal. They're going to have to step up and show some things. Tunyon showed us in the camp and in the offseason. Today, instead of being a complimentary guy, you got more on your plate.
We talked about all of our Texas connections. Kind of fun that Jared Wiley likely going to make his season debut here, like 20 minutes from TCU, right, where he played in college.
Yeah, and he grew up in Temple,
yeah,
which is just down I-35. It's where my son coached in Belton, like Twin Cities. But Nick Bolton, it's a big deal. Frisco Lone Star, right? He's just minutes from this stadium where he played high school football. And high school football is so awesome in Texas and so big. It's not just Pat Mahomes. It's others as well. So, yeah. Come on, Jared Wiley. Let's go, buddy. You're back in your home state.
Well, we'll close with this. One thing we talked about after the game on Sunday is it finally felt like, hey, that's the Chiefs. That's the team we know these guys can be. It's a challenge coming down here on a short week, but what an opportunity to go from where we were just a few days ago to hopefully getting 2 wins in 5 days and enjoying the mini-bye after this one. For Mitch Holthus, I'm Matt McMullen. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Let's go get a victory.